There once was a song called No Time.
Yeah, why not?
Whose host was Shalaj, Lawania.
Damn.
Subscribe. No, you can like, share.
That's amazing. Take two.
What? Ignore.
This is a conversation with Shweta Subram. She's a singer, popularly known for the songs Jalebi Baby, Dile Nadan from the movie Hawaii Zada, and Khushnuma with the Piano Guys. In this conversation, we discuss the magic of music, her journey getting into music and her creative process, experience working in the Bollywood and the Tamil music industry, and then we end by playing a spicy Koffee With Karan inspired rapid fire round.
There once was a show called No Time, whose host was Shalaj, Lawania. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. You can give it 5-star ratings on Apple Music and make wonderful donations on Patreon. Your love and support we really care of. And now it's about showtime. It's no time.
So Friedrich Nietzsche had once said that those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who couldn't hear the music.
Oh, wow.
So I would like to start off by talking about the power of music. What is it about music that pulled you in? And do you think that music stands for something more than just songs and melodies and singing and dancing? Do you think there's a certain energy or certain magic to music that we often don't talk about?
For sure. You're right. For me, I've always been drawn to music. In fact, I find that after silence, if there's something that's more, expressible to the inexpressible, I think it's music. I've always seen that music is, for me, very therapeutic. A lot of times when I'm having a bad day, I find that, and of course, I have different genres that I listen to, depending on the day, depending on the mood. But I feel like music can heal so many people in so many different ways. So yeah, like you're in a good mood, you want to dance to good music, but times when you're feeling down, you're having a stressful day, I just put some blues, some jazz, I sit and listen to some beautiful classic melodies from the 70s. Like I listen to even sometimes in the Indian music, Carnatic musicians like M.S. Subbulakshmi, I listen to Lata Mangeshkar. So I think music has the power to heal. It's extremely therapeutic, and that's probably why I was drawn to music at a very young age, because being the only child, growing up to a lot of pressure, I felt like I needed a friend that and music was that friend to me. And it's stayed with me for a very long time, and I hope it stays with me for years to come.
It is a very powerful relationship that you describe with music that you share. There's an instance in your life, you were sitting at the airport and you got a message from the music composer Bharat Goel, who had said that there's an opportunity for you to collaborate with Ayushmann Khurana for the movie Hawaii Zada.
Right.
And thankfully you were at the right place at the right time. You were heading to India at that point.
That's super important. Yeah. Right is the right time.
You of course had the right set of skills and you had the right background to be able to capitalize on that moment. And this ties into something a lot of musicians talk about, which is the fact that they often feel like music is not really in their control. A lot of artists talk about the fact that they might spend 40 hours a week trying to write a song and nothing comes to them. And then there's a sudden stroke of inspiration, sudden idea, and then it all just, within an hour, they have a song.
It all
ready.
falls in place, yeah.
It all falls in place.
Yeah.
So I want to check with you as well. Do you ever get this feeling that music is so much larger than any one person that you never feel like, even though you're amazing at it, and then this is your craft, but you never completely in control of it, and at times you are always a student of it. It's always subject to some kind of circumstance, or maybe just a stroke of inspiration or something of that sort.
Yeah, one has to always remember that they're still learning, they're still students, because the day you believe that you know everything about music or about anything in life, I think that's sort of your finale. For me, I've been doing music for years. Yes, I've been learning Carnatic music growing up as a kid. Then I was drawn towards Hindustani music. Recently been more interested even in Western music and theory and stuff like that. So I feel there's abundance of knowledge out there when it comes to music, and so many different kinds of artists, genres of artists, so there's so many styles to learn from, and you get inspired from different artists, different days. Even like, for example, last night I was at a gig, I was performing with Subbir at this wedding, And what a powerhouse. Like, I believe I'm a powerhouse, but when I saw him, I felt really small. I was like, wow, like there's so much to learn from his performance, from his style, from his humility, from his modesty. Yeah, I think we should never have this egoistic like this belief or this attitude that we know it all. One has to always be open to learning from experiences, from the books. And when you spoke about Bharat Goyal, that was such a great experience. Like I remember, he's actually a programmer, and right, like you said, right place at the right time. I was just at the airport on the way to Mumbai, and for him to call me and say, Ayushmann Khurana has listened to some of your covers on YouTube, and he wants to work with you. I mean, what a great feeling. I remember going to Bombay and recording it, and 2 weeks after that, the song was out in a movie. So everything happened so quickly. So I think in this industry, you kind of have to be prepared for what, actually, in general, you'd be prepared for what life throws at you. It's very important to be prepared to continue the learning, keep the learning, keep the learning curve growing, because you never know where you're going to land up and what's going to come at you. So, yeah.
In your earlier answer, you had mentioned that music has the power to heal. It has a lot of therapeutic effects as well. On a lighter note, so for the song Jalebi Baby, you've said the interpretation for Jalebi Baby is that relationships are as risky as a
As
jalebi.
risky as jalebi, yeah.
They always go around in circles, a lot of spiraling, a lot of turmoil as well. And this lightly, I guess, ties into a bigger question about, do you think music always needs to have a purpose? Does every song need to convey a message? In fact, does music even have an objective to heal or to make people feel a certain emotion, make them smile, cry, laugh, or dance?
Of course. I think music does that beautifully. There are days when you're like, if I'm feeling low and I just feel like taking a pen and paper and writing my emotions down, because it's not necessary you always have a friend who's going to wake up, who's going to wake up to your calls at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. They might whack you. They might be like, listen, let me go to sleep. You're crazy. So music, that's why I said, for me, growing up as an only child, not having siblings around me, not having anyone to share my feelings with, music was that friend to me. I could put my thoughts in paper. I could convert my feelings into words, into melodies. So it's great. Like I've done, actually, a lot of the songs that I've written, like my own original compositions, have seen the light of day like that. In fact, Juba, Gile, these are two of my original singles that I first wrote. And I remember Ajuba just happened to me one night at 4 a.m. After a concert, I came home and the melody came to me and I was like, "Main hu tumhari Ajuba, mehbooba, main hu tumhari Ajuba." And I was just like, wow, this is flowing so beautifully. And I just wanted to write this. And the next thing I know, I'm in the studio recording it. And then I shot a music video in Toronto. So, you know what I mean? So I just think that music is definitely therapeutic. It's a great way of portraying your emotions. And for me, it's been my best friend. Yeah.
I find it fascinating, this whole concept of tapping into music, the idea of a flow state. But I must apologize, we've gotten quite an abstract 10 minutes into the interview, and I take full accountability for that.
No, that's okay. I keep talking as well.
No, we love it. We love long answers on this show. So definitely want to explore your journey and more tangible questions, less philosophical questions, hopefully. So just to lighten it up a bit, I have a slightly lighter question, I guess. So in the movie Yesterday, the protagonist wakes up and he finds out that all Beatles music has been erased from the world and he's the only one who remembers it. So if you were put in that position,
okay.
And if you were to wake up one day and you find that all music that you like has been erased from history and you have the choice to just save one song, which song out of these three would you save and why? Would it be Khwaishe from Heroine? Would it be Lambi Judai from Hero? Or whether it would be Kehna Hai Kya from Bombay?
You put me in a tough spot, but I would pick Lambi Judai. It's one of my favorite numbers. In fact, I don't know if you know this, or you may because you've done your homework, and I know you have. So
You never know.
I won my first award in music with Lambi Judai, my rendition of Lambi Judai from Hero. And but you put me in a tough spot because Heroine, music composed by Salim Suleiman, fabulous composers. Kehna Hai Kya, the legendary A.R. Rahman. In fact, I remember I used to sing Kehna Hai Kya a lot in school. And everyone used to love that rendition. And they'd be like, oh my God, you got to sing it, you got to sing it. And then it's funny, when time came for me to compete at this national music competition that was taking place in Toronto, I remember I chose Lambi Judai. And since that day, anywhere I go, even as recent as a few days ago, I was at someone's house and they're like, please, aap thoda lambi judai gaiye. So, it's like one of my favorite numbers. And I think that's the one song I would never want to forget.
Don't want hate mail from people who love Kehna Hai Kya from Bombay. In fact, what a great album altogether.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's why I said it's a tough choice.
Yeah. It's a show of tough questions. What can I say?
You're so good at this.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to actually watch an A.R. Rahman show here in Dubai at the Coke Arena, and he had performed Tu Hi Re, and I still get chills just thinking of that performance.
Yeah.
It was
and Hariharan ji is just another level, like he just surprises you with his renditions and just his, nuances and just things he does with the song. He makes it his own. It is his song. So the way he renders it every single time is different, and it just gives you goosebumps. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, legend in his own right, but unfortunately you had to make a choice and you picked the song that's closest to you. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about your journey. You did mention when you moved to Toronto, and I want to definitely cover that. So you were born and raised in Dubai, and then you ended up moving to Canada later in life. So in a previous interview, you had said that moving to Canada made me angry, especially as this shift was done when I was about to graduate from high school. So I couldn't graduate with the friends that I had for 16 years of my life. Now I had a new school, new life, and new friends with a bit of a culture shock as well. So I started focusing more on music. I personally find this impact of relocating, shifting on a child's life very interesting, because it had a huge impact on my life as well when we moved from Muscat to Dubai. In fact, I feel like it changed my personality altogether. So what was it like for you when you moved from Dubai to Canada, and what was that culture shock like?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, actually. I'm sure we've had similar experiences. In fact, it changed my personality altogether as well, because, here in Dubai, firstly, I had a lot of memories. I was born here, raised here, a lot of friends. And you know how it is in high school, you make some of your best buddies. And then for your parents to wake up one day and say, you know what, we have been doing this for a while, but we haven't told you this. We have been applying for Canadian PR. And then I'm like, okay. And I was hoping secretively that would come through after I graduate from high school. But it came through just a year before I was supposed to graduate. And, I was on student council and I was very popular in school. Like I was always in a bunch of different activities and always, outside school competing and, performing and stuff. So I really enjoyed the spotlight. I'm not going to lie. I'm one that really enjoys the spotlight. So I didn't want to leave my comfort zone. I didn't want to leave this place that I call home, And it was tough because firstly, I was under the impression, okay, even if we move from Dubai, we're going to Canada, we'd go to Toronto. But my parents decided to choose Ottawa, which was boring as hell. And, it's like a proper, very...
I don't want hate mail from people in Ottawa.
No.
The capital.
Honestly, I love Ottawa now. I mean, it's now home to me because my parents are still there. And, I think it's not hatred particularly towards the city. It's just the idea of moving when I'm so comfortable, in Dubai, and my memories are there. I didn't know anything else, right? And you want to graduate with your friends. You want to have that high school prom with your friends. You want to make that you want to have that graduation trip with your friends. So none of that was happening for me. And I was actually more upset with my parents that they couldn't wait for me to graduate to move to Canada. So I think going to Canada, yes, culture shock for sure, because here, you know how it is in school. Like we have uniforms, we're in a private school system, and then you go there, and firstly, I'm moving from an all Indian school now to a multicultural school, and then there are no uniforms in place. You can wear anything you want. It's more like a fashion parade. In fact, it's kind of stressful because girls were like, you can't repeat what you're wearing, And I was like, really? Okay, sure. So all of that. So there was a lot of surprises in store for me, and adjusting because when you go there when you're like 15, and in that school people have had lifelong friends, right? So suddenly you're trying to adjust and fit into a new group. So that made it a little bit more complicated as well. But actually, all said and done, I was really surprised by how warm and welcoming people were in Ottawa. And that's what Canadians are known for. They're really friendly. They're super sweet, hospitality. They're amazing, amazing people. So as much as I wanted to be angry and get really mad at my parents, and I didn't want to cool down. But when I went there, and the kind of warmth and love I got from people in Canada and the Indian community in Canada, in fact, some of my best shows and performances have been in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver. So Canada very soon became home for me, and now I miss Canada.
Yeah,
it's weird. And now I'm back to Dubai.
Interesting how it works, right?
Yeah, life full circle.
Yeah. You were talking about trying to convince your parents to not move. I remember my parents were going to move from Mangkhul, Bardubai to Motor City, and I was trying to convince them because I was quite comfortable with like the tuitions
Please.
and
Yeah.
just get the
That's
falafel
funny.
sandwiches, just
Of
do them
course.
once, and then once you
Mangkhul's a
come
great area, I know growing up in Dubai, those were the areas we used to be in all the time, Dubai, Karama. Now it's become Marina and Palm Jumeirah for me, but it's funny, like every time I go, I drive towards Dubai and Karama. So much nostalgia. I'm just like, yeah, I used to go there to eat and I used to do this and I used to do that. So
it's where the heart is. So you did touch upon this fact that when you moved to Canada, you moved away from your comfort zone, and that's what you mentioned in that interview as well. And you went on to say that because you were too involved with your friends in social circle in your comfort zone in Dubai, and then when you suddenly put in a space in Canada, where that's not the case, and then you're wondering what's next, and that's when you started focusing on music. Do you often think about this fact that if you hadn't moved to Canada, which at that point you did rebel against, you might have not got into music altogether? You might have had a very delayed entry into music?
I mean, good question, but like, the thing is, you're right. Like, I think going to Canada, see, in Dubai, we're very much in touch with our Indian culture. The proximity to India, we're still doing a lot of Indian things here. Going to Canada, I think there was so much of like Western culture around me that I think I felt the need to cling onto the culture a bit more because I was missing it. And I was doing it through music. So yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I would have had a delayed entry into music, or maybe I would have pursued the traditional path of like being a doctor or being a scientist because I remember I was so fond of, I was doing very well in school with biology and those kind of subjects. So I really wanted to be a doctor at one point, and then I changed to a microbiologist, and then I changed to marketing. I had so many different ideas in my head. I think I wanted to do it all. But you're right. I think there would have been a delayed entry. If I was in Dubai, I probably would have been pursuing music more as a hobby here, like along with my school and along with my, other aspirations or other like career aspirations. But I think moving to Canada, I was lucky that certain opportunities came to me at that time, which led me to believe that I should take music more seriously. And I was probably the only female singer that was very, like in the Indian circuit, in the South Asian circuit, that was very active at that time. So that got me a lot of opportunities. So I was performing, every weekend. And you're right. I think I delved into music a lot more because I was in Canada. I'm not sure if that would have happened if I was here. So maybe it was a blessing in disguise.
So we're all thankful that your parents decided to move to Canada.
End of the day, the parents are always right.
Yeah. Shout out to your parents. Thank you so much.
Thank you, mom and dad. And I know you're going to be happy listening to this because they always think I keep complaining. But no, I'm very grateful actually.
It's the butterfly
everything happens
effect
for the right
from there.
Yeah.
And then from Canada, you took part in a competition. You ended up going to India, and then you ended up becoming part of a reality show, Sunsil Gang of Girls, I believe it is called. And if you actually track your trajectory throughout, I find it very interesting that you have been able to make really tough decisions with a very detached perspective. So getting out of the reality show, the Sunsil show, stepping away from Bollywood when you felt that it was getting slightly toxic or the work ethics were not great, and even moving away from Mumbai after a while and settling in Dubai as well. So you have made these really tough decisions, and you've done this with a sense of being very objective about it. So I'm very curious to know, of course, your family and the values instilled in your own personality, that plays into this. But do you think a part of the reason is also the fact that you've grown up in Dubai as a Gulf expat, and it gives you this outsider's perspective into India? Because I constantly feel it. Like, if you ask me, I am Indian, but if I go to India, there's always this feeling that you're slightly detached. Do you think that's part of the reason?
Of course, that's definitely the reason. Like, it's kind of weird to say this, but even though like you are, one of Indian background and Indian nationality or whatever, but when you go there, you still feel a little out of place. You still feel like a little detached, as you were saying. That's the right word. For me, I have to attribute it to the cultural values that my parents instilled in me. And that's probably why I was able to make decisions very objectively. It hurt, of course, because you're there for a purpose and you want to see that purpose grow. But, at least people choose how they want to go about it in industry. Are they okay turning a blind eye towards everything that's happening and still moving forward? Or are they going to be true and honest to themselves and say, you know what, I don't like, this doesn't fall in place or fall in line with my values and, morals that I've learned growing up.
Sorry, can I just ask, was it tempting at any point to just say, let's take a big break, even if I don't like the work that I'm doing, but it might get me some attention? Because this is what most people who end up going to the industry end up doing.
Sorry, what do you mean by let's take a big break? As in?
Like you just mentioned, there's some things you might not be comfortable with, some kind of a project. But was it tempting at that point to just say, you know what, I'll do this now. I don't completely like what I'm doing, but maybe it might lead to something that I might like.
It's funny because a lot of people said that actually advised me to do it. A lot of people actually advised me that how does it matter? Like, who's going to know? All this happens, in closed doors, I was like, but I know, I know this is going to sound like a lot of people probably won't even believe me, but the reality is I had put my foot down. I was like, you know what? I know I'm losing a huge opportunity. There were like so many amazing opportunities in front of me. I know I was like closing doors for some great opportunities, but the thing is, I want to wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I got this and I got this work because of my talent, because someone believes in me. They truly believe in me. Yeah, unfortunately, when I was there, now I think the industry is changing because of social media and stuff. Things have gotten very different. And generation now, I know I sound very old, but the generation now, they're very lucky to, especially the people in their teens and, who are aspiring to get into this world of fashion or music or whatever, acting. I think they're fortunate that social media is out there and they can sit at home, put a video up and get noticed from miles away. At that time, it was all about being in Bombay, meeting people, like attending these, I don't know, parties, these, I don't know, social bees and stuff like that. So for me, I remember, I went to a few of those. It was nice to meet a lot of people, but then those advances made me feel extremely uncomfortable. And I said to myself, I can't wake up in the morning and feel good about myself, knowing that I got this project, in the wrong way. So yeah, it was tough. Like I look back because it's funny because months later, I've heard that song on TV and I hear that song on TV and someone else's voice and I'm like, that could have been me and it's a chart buster. But I'm like, it's a decision I made and I respect my own decision and I'll stand for it and I'm not regretting it in any way.
No, you have made some really tough decisions, but what does shine through is the integrity that you've shown. And it does speak for yourself. I mean, we can distract with tragedy. We've seen the choices you've made and they're all
Thank you. I'm glad you brought this up and you're appreciating it. So it feels nice to hear that.
Anytime. I definitely wanted to close up this one question about growing up in Dubai as well. So you had mentioned something interesting about never really feeling like there's a sense of detachment, of course. So at this stage now you're back in Dubai. Have you been able to form a fully rooted sense of identity? Because I say this because I still struggle with it. Now that I've moved to the US as well, people ask me, where you're from? I say Dubai because that's the place that's closest to home for me. And if I say India, then it becomes, okay, where in India? Then it's like, I've never really stayed there.
Yeah,
family's from there.
Exactly, yeah.
But if I'm in Dubai, then I say I'm in India because there's an understanding here.
Of course.
So do you still struggle with this, or do you now have a good idea of what your cultural identity is?
No, it's funny. I actually still struggle with it because now when people ask me where you're from, I say, well, I'm Canadian, but I'm from Dubai. I used to live in Dubai. Like I have to, there's a whole story that I have to explain, Like there's not like this one word answer or like, because I was born here. For the longest time, I felt like a Dubaite and I always wanted to come back here. So I made sure that happened. And I'm extremely thrilled to be here right now. But when people ask me, and also a lot of times I think it's because of the accent as well, because when certain words that I speak and say, they're like, it doesn't sound Indian. It doesn't sound Dubai. It doesn't like, where are you from? So that's how the conversation begins. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm from Canada. I spent like, a good chunk of time there. So yeah, I still struggle with it. It's okay. You're not the only one.
Oh,
and I think there are probably a lot of kids in our place, like, who have moved countries a lot or who have, lived in different places. I'm sure they all struggle with it. But at heart, like, I think I'm still a Dubai girl. I'll always be a Dubai girl. And like I said, I'm very grateful for the opportunities Canada has given me. So I'll never discount that. But now that I'm back to Dubai is also proving to be a extremely warm and welcoming place. And I couldn't be more happier. I'm really thrilled to be here during COVID season, especially. I think it's the best city we could have ever lived in. They've handled it so well. I don't think I would want it to be anywhere else at this time because honestly, yeah, we're going through all these variants and all of that, but I feel life is great here. The government has done a supremely amazing job in handling the situation, so it's great.
For sure. And yeah, I think this idea of this split cultural identity, I think it was manifested for you from birth itself because your nani wanted you to be named Shweta after Shweta Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan's daughter. And your other family members wanted you to be named Kantimati.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so probably I guess they set it in stone. They manifested it for you.
For sure. And I still have that, that because my legal name is Kantimati Subramanian Iyer. And Shweta always stayed with me because it's such a beautiful name. Of course, it became very common. Now it's supremely common. But at that time, it was a unique name. And I found Shweta, like people found it much easier to say Shweta, Even when I went to Canada, my passport and all my documents had Kantimati, but who can say that?
Canadians can't say Kantimati?
No, they I know.
Yeah.
How can they not
They
say
would
this?
have shortened it to something, right?
No. So then I just never introduced myself as Kantimati. They would like start just struggling. Okay, they're like Ka, and I'm like, just call me Shweta.
Yeah,
You know.
they still go through it. I imagine when they see legal documents.
Yeah. So then, and also like my last name used to be butchered all the time. Like my surname, it used to be like Subramaniac and Subramanian.
Subramaniac.
Yeah. So I was like, listen, it's just, you can just call me Subram. So that's how my artist name came about, like Shweta Subram. So I have both names and I'm happy with that. So I'll respond to whichever name you call me with.
Perfect. I'll keep switching it up.
Just to test me.
Yeah, which side of your personality is speaking?
That's right.
Just always be on the lookout. Okay, so you were talking about Bollywood and you were talking about certain parts of the industry that you did not agree with. And in one of the interviews, you've said that Bollywood was a lot about who you knew. And that could really be your support network in the music industry. The Dubai word for this is called Vasta. And it's not shocking that Bollywood functions on Vasta. It doesn't come as a surprise to anyone, honestly. So if you had the power today to change 3 things about the Bollywood industry, what would they be?
Oh, wow. I think one would be, like more recently, I've been seeing that the music industry has been doing a lot of remixes. That's the one thing I would change. I'd like, let's go back to some pure music. Let's take away the auto-tuning and let's take away that tons of production and mixing and mastering.
Adding random rap,
random
Punjabi
rap,
words, twerk, selfie, Lamborghini.
It's like whatever you can think of, man. It's like today it's mera selfie, tomorrow it's tera selfie. They just change one word. It's just where's the creativity? That's the one thing I would change.
To a certain point, there is some creativity.
I don't know, but okay.
There's one. That's one thing you would change.
That's the one thing I would say.
There's 2 more
me.
things, huh? 3 things.
I know. I wish I can think of 2 more things. That's why I'm like buying time here now.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I take that very seriously. Anything to do with music, I take extremely seriously. So that's the first thing I would change. Secondly, for me, I would say this with a lot of more conviction. Years ago, like I said, when I went to Mumbai, I was only visiting. I didn't even stay there for too long. I was just visiting. At that time, it was purely about like networks and who you know and like always showing up at these parties. But social media has changed that a little bit now. So I think like the people that are kind of venturing into the industry now have it slightly different. I wouldn't say easier because I still think, like you said, Vasta and like all this networking and knowing the who's and who's are very important. So I think I would change. You can't change people really. Like everyone should have certain morals and ethics imbibed into them. So it's hard for me to say I would want to change that, but I would like to see the industry functioning differently and respecting the artist for who they are and for their talent and giving the opportunities based on talent. I also feel in the same point that it's nice to see all these reality shows out there, but what happens to the contestants after the reality shows? I want to see them all, being presented with more and more opportunities. It's sad. Like when months down the road, years down the road, you're like, hey, what happened to that really talented singer in that reality show? The poor kid is at home, not without any work. He got all that marketing, he got all that promotion, but he didn't. And he was promised a ton of opportunities on air, to increase the TRP ratings of the show. Oh, main gaunga, I'm sure you'll sing in my movie one day, but you never see that kid never sees that happening. So that's the one thing. False promises is one thing I'd like to change. So that's a personal point. And these are the only two things I honestly can think about. I know you asked for 3.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You can send us an email later. We'll add it in. But yeah, these are quite powerful points for sure. To your point about reality shows, to date, I always think about, so the Indian Idol, the first season when it happened, there were 2 contestants, finalists, Amit Sana and Abhijit Sawant.
Yes.
And me and my brother used to have this competition between us because he used to like Amit Sana, I used to like Abhijit Sawant. And we both now constantly wonder what happened to that, because they were like the next big thing.
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
Indian
yeah.
music
And he was
industry.
the first Indian Idol, right? It was the biggest thing ever. I mean, in fact, it's funny. I was in touch with Abhijit Sawant last month. We were talking over, WhatsApp. He was in Dubai. Supposed to meet. We didn't get to. But, I was telling a friend that, I'm going to meet Abhijit Sawant and all. And she's like, oh yeah, whatever happened? Like, is he doing any work? Like, so, I mean, I'm happy to see he's doing a lot of shows. And, I'm pretty sure that he's probably really involved in the creative process of making music, writing songs. But the kind of, the way he was blown up and the kind of exposure he got, you really would have expected to see the next like 10 albums in Bollywood in his name, but that didn't happen. And, actually, I did think of a third point, actually, because I didn't want to send an email later. I thought of it.
Anything but an email.
Yeah, no. But jokes apart, actually,
Yeah.
this point was in my head. It's that I really want to hear a lot more independent music. There are a lot of independent artists out there doing some amazing things, amazing bands. I just hope that they're put more in the forefront. They're given more opportunities to like compose for films, or because you need the marketing. You need unfortunately or fortunately, you need the backup of big Bollywood stars, and that's when your song becomes extremely popular. So I'm hoping that more independent musicians are able to shine through and bring their music to the forefront.
Yeah.
That can be heard
It's
by
a very
the masses.
interesting point. I'm actually very curious to get your thoughts on this, because the thought was that with the advent of social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, independent artists will actually get a lot more exposure. But what I find these days, even with Instagram, not in music in particular, is that the status quo is still persisted even on these social media platforms. If I
Yeah.
go on Instagram, the kind of influences that are on there,
Yeah,
it's not the kind of art that I thought would be promoted through it.
Exactly.
Or TikTok, all these.
yeah.
So do you think the challenge, the battle then is not with these head honchos in Bollywood who are pushing a certain visual of what someone should look like or sing like or speak like, but rather actually convincing people that the kind of art that you do, the music that you do is actually has more value to it, I guess.
Yeah. I think I'm just trying to, if I can understand your question, you're saying that you're expecting social media to have,
I mean, the thought was that it's just awareness that's not allowing people to actually value a certain kind of music over the other. But what these platforms have shown is actually people still value these remixes, those beats and stuff. And it's good artists that are still being suppressed. even
yeah,
on
I agree
TikTok.
with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. They're being suppressed. I mean, yeah, there are a few artists that have, able to maybe shine on TikTok or Instagram through Insta Reels. But yeah, if you look at the percentage, I mean, it's mostly Bollywood songs that are being remixed on Reels and on, TikTok videos and all of that. So I think it's all about marketing and having the dollars to like promote your song. If you have a lot of monetary power to pump your song out there and have it played on every channel, every social media influencer, paying these influencers and bloggers to dance on your reel or cook on your reel, that's what people end up watching, and then it's like a effect, right? Like everyone else is doing the reels because they want to be a part of the trend. So it's unfortunate because you would expect these portals to actually give younger musicians or more independent musicians a platform or more of an opportunity to showcase their work, but I don't see that happening much, really. I don't see that happening, Rich. And a lot of times it surprises me when I see people that have these blue tick marks and people that are like so-called influencers and bloggers, and I'm like, what are they known for? Like what is it that they do? And they just put out random videos. They just have this like really good team who's very good at editing stuff, like changing their clothes. They jump on the sofa, their sunglasses change, they jump into the kitchen, their pants change, like it's
TikTok template.
Jump
one place to another.
Yeah, that's what's becoming insanely popular even on Instagram. They're all just copying each other. I think no one's people just want fast results and fast likes and fast comments, and they want to just show because that's what sells, numbers, right? Even in Instagram, it's all about how many followers do you have. I never cared about this. Honestly, I never cared about this because it irritates me. And somebody's like, how many followers do you have? I'm like, I don't have an answer. I'm sorry. If you want to follow me for my work, it's great. But if you want, if I have 1 million followers or 500,000 followers, if that's your, criteria to follow me, that's okay. I don't need another follower. It's okay. You just follow me because you're truly appreciative of my talent and my skill set. And you really like what you're listening or what you're seeing. And of course, we all succumb to these trends. Even I've done silly things like, you know, I wear this and then I come out with like some glamorous outfit. Like you do this, but I do it for fun. You know, I do it for fun. I don't get succumbed into it, and I'm not every reel or every TikTok video is a template for me. You know, like I want to focus on putting my music out there, putting pictures of my shows that I've done, so people know what Shweta is all about. They see the fun side, you know, they see the musical side. So yeah.
All important points, and I'm sure you'll start a revolution from this show itself on points that you want to change.
I don't even know people are going to like me after this interview.
I think they will love it. Don't worry. But I'm curious, you've also worked in the Tamil music industry. So what are the differences or maybe what similarities that you find between the Bollywood music industry and the Tamil music industry at that point?
Personally, I love the music in the Tamil music industry. If you ask me which industry I'd like to be a part of more, it would be the Tamil music industry, because I'm not saying that one industry is far more talented than the other. It's not that, but it's, at least from what I see and what I hear, the kind of music that and the music directors that are churning out of the regional music industries are just phenomenal, and a lot more music directors are getting opportunities to, you know, portray and showcase their talent, and not just the movies. There's also, I think there was this show on YouTube. It was Music Mojo or something. It was like a South Indian. It was done, the shoot was done in Kerala, and they had these bands, you know, doing cover songs, but then their own interpretation of these songs, and then some originals. And the kind of stuff they do, it was very similar to Coke Studio, but it was a southern version shot in Kerala. So I just feel like the kind of music, the kind of skill set, the kind of talent that comes out of the South is far more at least the industry promotes and pushes such kind of talent. And I'm sure there is such kind of talent even in northern side and Bollywood side. It's just that they're too busy focusing on remixes. So
at the moment. Message taken, don't worry. You have actually provided quite interesting perspectives on a lot of common issues. So I actually want to check one more thing with you. You've been in the thick of this issue. So for the song Jalebi Baby, Tesher chose to not give you feature credits. And he, in fact, I would put it as a footnote in a video description. So not really credits as such. And if you ask me, your contribution to the song is the most significant part. It is the main hook. It is the part that everyone remembers.
Yes.
It is what the song is named after as well. So sure. I mean, this is a gray area, because if Tesher really wants to argue it, then he can say that a song is a composite of many different elements. If you really quantify it, then that portion will become a very small part of it. But to everyone else, we all know that, of course, you are equally a part of this song. So this is an issue that has persisted in the music industry for the longest amount of time. I mean, Rolling Stones, Beatles, even they have issues with accreditation as well. Do you think there is a way moving forward to actually set some kind of guidelines so that this doesn't happen? Or do you think just the creative process that's involved in making a song, making music, do you think we'll always have these issues as we go along now that you've been in the thick of one?
Yeah. So going back to the Tesher issue, it came to me as a big surprise. Because just to give you some background, I was originally, when I was originally contacted by Tesher and his team, they pretty much initially just told me that I was going to sing background vocals and I was going to be one amongst many singers. And this was during lockdown. I was in Dubai and I didn't think much of it. I said, you know what, he's a Canadian. And I was like, let's just help a fellow Canadian musician out. Like, how does it hurt? I'm at home. I have my recording set up. So I just did my parts and sent it to him. The next thing I know is the song was released. And the funny thing is, generally when I work with musicians, there's this code of conduct, or there's this, sometimes even not everything has to be put on paper. It's like understood. There's this, ethical thing where it's like, okay, thanks for sending your vocals. Here's the final mix. How do you feel about it? Like this is how your vocals are going to sound. Do you approve? Like, do you believe your vocals sound okay or whatever? There's a conversation that happens between two professional musicians. I think with Tesher, the weird part was after I sent my vocals, I never heard back from him. And the next thing I know is the song is out. And I didn't even know the song was out. Actually, a couple of my fans and followers from Instagram wrote to me saying that, is that your voice in the Jalebi Baby track? And I was like, oh, how do you know? Because I didn't make an announcement that I was part of Tesher's project whatsoever. It was a surprise, actually. I was a little taken aback. I said, no, Tesher's out with the song and the hook sounds like your voice. And that's what really got to me, because first of all, there was no, I think I was a little surprised that he didn't want to, credit me He didn't want to mention me. Even in his social media, Instagram accounts, he put out the song. There was no mention that Shweta Subram has sang the hook line. And I was just a little appalled by that behavior. I remember like my manager reached out to his management, and they were under the argument that I've just sang background vocals, right? And this is an argument that continues to date because a lot of people, everywhere I go, now fortunately Dubai has been very supportive. The media here has been great. They've all interviewed me. I've been in different media channels, newspapers, radio stations, and they've all been promoting the fact that I'm the singer of Jalebi Baby and I've sang the hook of Jalebi Baby. So now a lot of people know this. So I don't know if it's ignorance or if it's just he doesn't want to acknowledge it. But I just found it surprising that something that's so obvious to everybody, that I've sang the hook of the song. The title is called Jalebi Baby. So it was only right to credit me as a featured vocalist and not just a background vocalist, or or sort of not give that not put the spotlight on it. So I don't know what's causing this, and I'm still waiting to hear from Tesher on why he's done that. I've not heard back from him. I reached out to him many number of times, didn't hear back. So I'm a believer of karma. So I just sometimes think like, what, it's an experience. I learned from it, and maybe I'll do things a little differently moving forward. But rightfully so, everywhere I go, it feels really good when people say, what, you are the one who made the song. Like it's your voice that made the song. Yes, all credit to Tesher for producing it, being the mastermind behind it. He's a supremely talented composer and producer. I give him all credit for that. Of course, you can't take that away from him. It's his idea, but it's just that it would be nice to share the limelight a little bit with somebody who's also given some spark to your song, with their voice. So that's the only thing I wish was done a little bit better. But yeah, it is what it is. And to answer your question, that this has been happening in the industry, I guess what makes it complicated is there are no set rules in place, and I've heard that even in the past, legendary artists have had these problems, where somebody's not credited and this and that, and it's sad. I really hope, I don't know, maybe there should be like a collective union, like all of us should like start like this organization where we believe that artists are credited more fairly, because it hurts to be in this position, it really does. Because see, you put in a lot of work, and end of the day, I believe that it's only fair that everyone should be happy, and everyone should earn their share of popularity and earn their share of monies as well, right? And when you're not credited properly, you lose a big chunk of both. Neither are you getting the popularity, neither are you getting the monies, right? You're taking a huge share of pie to yourself. So I think if things can change in terms of crediting, like if we can maybe have if these rules can change a little bit, I think it'll make the world a much better place, especially for musicians. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Honestly, I don't have an answer to that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
The revolution is going to start from this episode. Years later, when they look back, they'll be like, this is the episode.
This is the episode. Yeah, I really hope so.
But at least let's get the conversation going. And if not anything, I mean, everyone knows Jalebi Baby, and the more we promote you.
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
The least I can do for a great song like that. Okay, so before we start wrapping up, I have a game segment for you.
Okay.
I have a rapid fire round.
I love rapid fires.
Yeah, inspired by Koffee with Karan. So
of course.
I'm sure you watched the show, so you know how it goes. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Make sure your answers are rapid, full of fire.
Yeah.
And
am I getting a gift hamper?
Due to COVID protocols, cancelled a coffee hamper.
Okay, I'll bring my peppermint tea.
Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe we'll send something your way. Yeah. No, we take this very seriously. The rapid fire round is it's a legacy.
Okay, let's do
Okay,
this.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you woke up one morning and you found out you've turned into the following, what would you do?
Okay.
This is typical Koffee current questions.
Yeah, of course.
Shreya Ghoshal.
Oh my God. I would try like more huskier songs. Like, she's such a sweet voice and all she does is sing. I mean, she can sing anything. She's supremely talented. But like, I would, maybe try an Adele, or I would, try like a Usha Uthup. I would really try and see if I can modulate my voice to sound like that.
Interesting. Yeah, Shreya Ghoshal, Usha Uthup. Oh, that's interesting to see. Okay, Ayushmann Khurana.
Oh, wow. If I woke up as Ayushmann Khurana, I would take a break from work because the guy has been working like nonstop and he's doing all these like conventional roles and like really interesting movies, you know. I actually really appreciate him for his choices of work and he's shining through every project he does. So I think he's on the run quite a bit. So if I woke up next to him, I'd say please take a break.
All right. Take a break, Ayushmann. Okay, next one, Badshah.
Oh, if I woke up as Badshah, oh God, I'll be like, you know, Badshah, like I like your rap, but can you like do something new? Like I'd like to hear something new from him. You know, like I loved Ginda Pool and like I there are certain songs of his that I really like. He's a great rapper. He's very talented, but I would just like to hear something new, something fresh. You know, something maybe even maybe he's already done this and I haven't heard it, but more regional as well. I like to hear him do some Tamil rap and Malayalam rap and, you know, maybe explore more avenues.
He's watching. He'll take the feedback. Himesh Reshammiya.
I'd stop singing from my nose.
But that's his USP.
I know that is his USP, but yeah, no, maybe that's what you know works for him. But like, I would try and do like this non-nasal singing. Yeah, I would like to hear him sing some like old melodies, you know, like some Muhammad Rafi songs. I would like to see how he would sound in it because he has a different voice, very unique voice. It would be nice to actually see because you know a lot of times what perspective we have of someone is through reality shows, you know. But I'd like to meet Himesh the person and like really understand his music sensibilities and his who his idols are and aspirations are.
Yeah, the rock star of the 2000s, Himesh Reshammiya. My entire childhood was based on his songs. Okay, one movie dialogue that describes Shweta Subram.
I told you I don't remember any movie dialogues.
One quote, one phrase.
Oh God.
Tagline. Yeah.
This is like the worst question you can ask me because I can't.
You're not running away from this question.
Oh God, one quote, one tagline. Maybe I should just make one up right now. Yeah, life is not a bed of flowers. That's how I'd put it. Life is not a bed of flowers. That's my line. And if I can elaborate, basically, you know, you have to be strong enough to deal with what life throws at you. You know, you can't be too emotional, too overly sensitive, because I've been there, done that, and you know, you hope that people are gonna like empathize with you, and you know, yeah, they might share a few words just to make you feel comfortable at that moment, but like really, you have to be strong and you have to like just buck up and like you have to move forward, and you know, so that's why I said life is not a bed of flowers. Like just be prepared at whatever life throws at you.
That's a great movie dialogue on the spot. Yeah. Bed of roses, bed of flowers. Okay, one song that will always make you smile.
Oh, one song that will always make me smile. It's funny, that song always makes me smile, but like, it's the Ed Sheeran song. I'm trying to remember the lyrics of the song. It makes me smile, but I can't remember the name of the song. I don't know if you
can sing it if you want.
No, I'm so bad at the tune also. Hold on. Okay, let me think of another song. But there is an Ed Sheeran song.
I don't know that many. Thinking Out Loud, A-Team.
No, not A-Team.
Shape of You is his also, right?
Yeah, Shape of You I used to really like. It is one of the songs too.
But
it's
it doesn't make you smile as much.
Yeah. It's a little smile.
A little smile.
Yeah. No, it makes me dance actually. I really liked Shape of You because I saw so many different versions of it as well. And I used to always be like, every time it came on, like I don't know, it was a good like feel good song. Shape of You was definitely that. And then I would say in Hindi for me, or even in South Asian music, I really used to like the song Kangana. It's like the Dr. Zeus has made a song. Kangana Tirani. I don't know why, I just love that song. Like every time I have a chance to perform it, I love performing that song as well.
One song that'll always pull you to the dance floor.
Dance floor. Oh yeah, I know that song. Bebo. Every time I hear that, I just know what I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
okay,
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas.
If you had only one more day to live, what food would you want to eat?
Honestly, I'm vegetarian, but I would eat like, you know, Hakka noodles, Manchurian, South Indian by background. So I'd have some nice dosa, idli, anything like that's vegetarian and yummy. But I think one of my most favorite things is rasmalai. And I think I'd gobble down like, you know, a few of those. Yeah, so
I'm vegetarian as well. And
Oh.
unfortunately, people don't talk a lot about the veg hakka noodles, the veg Manchurian.
oh my god,
It's a world. I, mean,
I
it's
know.
like parota and the gobi
Oh
Manchurian.
yeah,
Man,
yeah. I just love it, and I could even eat like I could eat that for lunch, dinner, breakfast. Actually, I could eat that all the
you're
time.
Speaking my language.
Yeah.
Okay. The greatest irony in life is actually the voice of Jalebi Baby does not like jalebis herself. So if you had to pick between these two desserts, which one would you pick? Honey cake or tiramisu?
You have put me in such a tough spot because I like both of them so much, especially after moving to Dubai. Like tiramisu would be my hands down number one choice. Okay, if you asked me this question when I was in Canada, because I didn't even know honey cake existed at that point.
Yeah.
And then I came here,
Yeah.
and then there was this bakery called Katrina. I'm sorry, I'm promoting you guys, but
Are you sorry?
I should be happy I'm promoting you guys.
Sponsorship money. Okay. Yeah.
Katrina Bakery. If you have a chance,
Where are they?
they're everywhere. You can Zomato them. Just get honey cake. Okay. Like I should have put that today. I should have told you I'm coming only if you have honey cake.
Yeah,
now.
actually, that's true. They're watching and they're going to sponsor this. The amount of
I know how much amount of time I mentioned that. No, but their honey cake is phenomenal. Like it's funny because now even for birthdays and for celebrations, normally the norm is you have Black Forest or chocolate cake, right? It's gone out of the window. For me now, it's honey cake from Katrina.
Even in our house. Actually, but it's Spinneys.
Oh, Spinneys.
Yeah,
Oh, I should
always.
try that. Spinneys has always had. It's like the age-old, really nice bakery and nice breads and stuff.
Honey
right?
cake from Spinneys has always been our go-to.
Okay,
any
so
birthday.
then that's for sure. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
a tough choice. I'm sorry. I like honey cake and tiramisu, so I think I'll have both.
Okay, -5 points. No coffee hamper for you. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, the best advice I ever received was actually from Sonu Nigam when I was touring with him before COVID. Was that listen to all sorts of music, all genres. Don't restrict yourself to one particular genre because, of course, since I sing more of Indian music, I used to always listen to different Indian musicians and stuff. But he's like, no, it doesn't matter whether you sing it or not. Arabic music, Italian music, blues, jazz, just listen to it all because you learn something from, and listening is key. More than singing and practicing every single day, which is also important. Riyaz, as they call it, is very important. But listening to different kinds of music teaches you so much and gives you a very broad perspective. And you can incorporate different styles. So I think that's the best advice I've gotten to date. Like just listen to different kinds of music and be original. Do not try and imitate anyone because I know a lot of people are wannabe Arijit Singhs and Sonu Nigams and Shreya Ghoshals and Sunidhi Chauhans. But and a lot of times I used to get that, like when I sing, because I'm sort of more in the powerful bracket. Let's say, oh, you were like just like Sunidhi Chauhan. It's a compliment because I've not missed a single concert of hers. I love her, but the industry does not need another Sunidhi Chauhan. So I'm trying to create my own sound and sound as original as possible.
Yeah, respect to Sonu Nigam. What a powerhouse and a legend of the music industry. I
Yeah.
grew up loving all the songs.
Oh,
Continue
he's
to love it.
amazing, yeah.
And he continues to innovate and continues.
Oh,
to
he's so
do awesome.
great.
Yeah.
It's actually a real honor to watch him perform, and so that too so closely. I had a chance to be with him backstage and tour with him and work out with him in the gym. We even worked out together where he was telling me how to do push-ups and all that. He's such a great guy. Like I love him.
What's the worst advice you've received, or feedback or review?
The worst advice, I wouldn't say feedback or advice, but when I was growing up, my mom was taking me for music classes, and it still stays with me to date because I only can imagine how much it hurt my mom at that time when someone told her that I sound like a frog. Yeah, it's like, oh, why is she even singing? She's croaking, and then I was like, okay. And the reason that it was the case was because I was as a kid I had tonsillitis, and I still do because I never removed my tonsils, but. Fortunately, I've been, not like I'm getting into medical conversation here, but I fortunately started taking homeopathy medicines, and that's really saved me for years to come. And my voice texture and everything has changed. And of course, growing up, your voice changes. But I was like an 8-year-old kid, and someone said I sounded like a frog. So that was the worst thing someone has ever told me. Yeah, but it's okay. It doesn't. What doesn't hurt you, it makes you stronger, right? So I think it made me stronger, and I kind of wanted to prove that, yeah, a frog can also.
This is your struggle story. You write this in your book, in your autobiography.
A frog can jump out of the pond.
Yeah. There's a metaphor there. Okay. React with one word to the following. Indian high school.
Nostalgia, like fun memories.
One word.
Sorry.
John Mayer. Yeah, -5. John Mayer.
John Mayer. Talent. Yeah.
Talent. Lata Mangeshkar.
Legend.
Backstreet Boys.
childhood crush.
2 words, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
this is
because of
allowed.
mine.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, Shankar Mahadevan.
Powerhouse of talent. I'm sorry, I know you're saying one word, but I don't think there's enough words for Shankar Mahadevan. Aspiration. Also a mentor for me, actually. I won one of his competitions, Shankar Mahadevan Academy, and I had a chance to learn from him one-on-one. And he was so sweet. He's so sweet. Every time I meet him, the warmth.
He deserves it. So I love this paragraph for him.
Yeah.
One musician you're dying to work with.
Oh, yeah. I think if I had to pick, it would be A.R. Rahman. Definitely would like to work with him. Again, we've grown up listening to his music. Like there's been Bombay, there's been so many phenomenal albums of his, So I think if I get the opportunity to even do one song or one line for him, that would be so great.
I'm not in music, but I would also love to work with him.
Yeah.
Just to be around him.
Just to be around him.
What a
right?
legend.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question of this rapid fire round. What is the best and worst part about being Shweta Subram?
Oh, the best part about being Shweta Subram is I think it's a blessing that the kind of life I've had, everything has its own challenges, but I think I'm blessed to have had the opportunity to live in different countries, experience different cultures, and then, use that in my music. And I just feel like I'm really blessed to have this kind of life. So that's, I think, the best part about being Shweta Subram. The worst part, I think no one wants to be near me when I'm angry. I'm not angry with you, don't worry.
Already nervous. Hands are shaking.
Yeah, you don't want to be next to Shweta Subram when she's angry or, when she's upset. Because it takes a lot for me to get angry. I have a lot of patience, but if you keep nudging me in the wrong direction and you irritate me, then I'm done.
Message has been sent out. That is the end of the rapid fire round. I would give that a 5 out of 5.
Thank you.
Performance. And we will arrange a coffee hamper for that performance. But yeah, great answers all the way through. Few minus points.
I know.
But we'll ignore that for now. Yeah.
Everyone's allowed to have few minus points.
You're allowed in this in life, for sure. There has to be a balance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so final questions for you as we start wrapping up. What are some books, movies, or people that have been strong influences in your life?
So books, a book I read recently, it was by this author called Louise Hay. You Can Heal Your Life. Yeah, You Can Heal Your Life. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the book. What a book. I loved it. It's truly a blessing. A friend of mine had introduced me to that book, and I can't thank her enough. I urge everyone to go and read that book. It talks about how your thoughts are so important in life, how your thoughts kind of manifest into what happens in your life. So definitely a book to read. Movies, there are so many, but I remember growing up watching Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, and I could so go back and watch that again and again and again. Recent Hindi movies, the one I've been watching over and over is Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara and Dil Dhadakne Do are like two of my top movies. In 2000, there was a movie that came out. It was called The Gift. Very interesting movie, actually. Very cool movie. I remember watching, like walking out of the theater thinking like, wow, that movie really stayed with me. Interesting one about a couple that was married and a mysterious guest walks into their life, and then he shows up randomly every other day and inundates them with like mysterious gifts. So that's what the story is about. And I won't say more because trust me, you should watch it if you haven't watched it. Yeah. It's called no spoilers. Yeah. It's called The Gift. So yeah, these are a couple of movies and books that I would recommend.
Did you ever have a moment where you were completely starstruck that you thought, wow, this is really surreal, I'm going to work with this person?
Yeah, that happened with Sonu Nigam. That happened with Sonu Nigam because, when I was in Dubai, I remember he had come here for a concert, and my dad knew my love for Sonu Nigam. He was like more like my crush. Like I think I used to dream about Sonu Nigam all the time. So I remember like my dad was like, he made sure I had like front row tickets for every concert of his. Yeah. So I was like sitting in the front and just like watching him, perform, like all like dreamy eyed and so starstruck. And then, funny enough, when that moment actually happened, when I got a call saying you're going to be touring with him, I just played it off like so cool. I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm working with Sonu Nigam,
Yeah.
So, but the reality is, you are so starstruck because you just like wonder how that man can do it all, Like he's not just a great singer; he's also a very well-learned person. Like he's very well read. He knows about anything. You can have a topic about anything. You can talk about world affairs. You can talk about anything, and he's just in the know-how of everything. He's a very he's a great like in terms of a reader, like knowledgeable singer, everything. So totally starstruck.
I had the privilege of watching his concert in 2020, just before all the lockdowns, and he has a presence on stage, and I was so far away. Yeah. And he mixes his like performance with like comedy, and he does a lot of trolling on stage. He stops his song in the middle to like talk to someone in the front row. If someone's walking by, he's like, "Thank you for coming," and then he's continuing singing. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's great, and he's like also a very good mimic. So he can mimic like other artists really well. It's a pleasure to watch him. And I had the good fortune because, like I said, I was touring with him. I even had a chance to party with him. So like after post concerts, we'd all like sit and we'd chill and we'd like, and he has a whole different personality. So like it's amazing.
Just love it. I just remember like randomly he broke out into pelvic thrust, into moonwalking on stage.
He does that a lot, the moonwalk. He's great. Yeah.
Okay, last 3 questions. Let's say you can travel back in time and you can give advice to young Shweta. What advice would you give her?
Yeah, I would definitely give myself the advice that start young. Like don't waste time, and don't be lazy. Because I used to always think, I'm young, I have years, and I can do this and I can do that. Why am I in a rush? And be a little bit more smarter about opportunities, because there were a lot of opportunities that came knocking on my door, which I failed to see because I was busy at that time, just having fun. I was like, whatever. I'm super cool. People want to work with me. I can wait. It's really foolish, honestly. I admit, such a fool, because I've lost those opportunities actually have led to bigger opportunities for other people who actually jumped on board. So I will give myself that advice that, if I could rewind a few years, I would say like, do not ignore it when opportunities come knocking on your door. Open every door, like, analyze the opportunity. Give it time, like see if it makes sense for you, and then make a call. Don't just turn a blind eye towards things. Yeah.
What would you like your legacy to be like?
Oh God, I don't know.
It's a good answer.
I haven't thought about that one, but
you can send us an email later.
Yeah, maybe I'll send you an email on that.
The email is going to come regardless.
I know. I think the email has to come, right? I have somewhere or other you're making sure I'm going to send you an email.
There has to be an email.
Yeah. No, I really haven't thought that one through. Actually, I haven't thought that. I haven't believed that I'm going to like leave a legacy. I don't know why. I've never really felt like that. But I'll get back to you on that one on email.
Live each day as it comes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I do. That's honestly what I do. I live each day as it comes. I enjoy every moment to the fullest. I'm grateful every step of the way. Now I'm definitely more grateful for every opportunity I get. Yeah.
Final question. What do you think is the meaning of life?
Oh, wow. Like I said, life is not a bed of roses. It's life is complicated. But at the same time, I'm not trying to sound negative. I think we have to be grateful to the kind of life God has given us. I believe in a higher power. I believe in a supreme power. And I wake up every morning just thanking the divine power for, the fact that I'm getting to see the light of another day. And, give me the strength and give me the power to fulfill the reason I'm here on this planet. So for me, life is a little complicated. Because trust me, I've had a very interesting life with different things happening to me and different walks of life. So for me, life is complicated, but I'm hoping that it's smooth sailing very soon.
Similar meaning to life, like Bon Jovi, who said life is not a bed of roses. Yeah. That's a great meaning to have. Shweta, thank you so much. If people want to connect with you, follow your work, find out what you're doing next, where can they do so?
Yeah, Shweta Subram is the handle. Instagram, Facebook, SHWETA SUBRAM. And yeah, if you want to hear, I'm doing a lot of these live sessions. I'm doing a lot of unplugged sessions as well, so people can hear who the real Shweta is. Because like I said, I'm not a fan of auto-tuned and produced stuff. When something's too over the top, I want people to know Shweta for her voice and for her talent. So I'm going to do a lot of that. So make sure you follow these handles and you can hear me and you can watch me sing live.
Sounds great. Shweta, thank you so much. It was an honor talking to you.
Thank you. It was an honor as well. Thank you.